Was it the killing that excited you, or is it what happened after the killing?
No, the killing was just a means to an end. That was the least satisfactory part. I didn't enjoy doing that. That's why I tried to create living zombies with uric acid in the drill. But it never worked. No, the killing wasn't the objective. I just wanted to have the person under my complete control, not having to consider their wishes, being able to keep them there as long as I wanted. It's not easy to say that, but that's what the motive was.
Where did that need for control come from? Do you have any idea?
I don't know, maybe I felt I had no control as a child or young adult, and that got mixed in with my sexuality, and I ended up doing what I did was my way of feeling in complete control, at least for that situation, creating my own little world where I had the final say, finding the best looking guy that I could, and having total mastery over him for as long as I wanted. Lust played a big part of it, controlling lust. That was the motive right there.
All right, Greg, what do you got?
There's a lot of powerful and horrible stuff in there. I'll leave to you guys. I'll just say this. Look at that lean. Look how far out that guy has gotten. He's moving out of the chair almost. His back is twisted. And when he says, at no control as a child or younger adult, watch him illustrate in his father's direction. Boop, boop, boop. Something's going on. This time, Scott, when he's using his pursed lips, I think they're illustrators making his point. So yeah. I think he's so contained in his face that we see illustrators, we see control of emotion, and we see adapters all in his face because he's so contained in the way he moves. Now, while he might be not, we may decide he's not a psychopath, he's at least the kind of guy you could look at in an ordinary setting and say, that looks like a bad thing to hang out with. I'm not going to have any involvement with that guy. But apparently enough people did that it was in the teens of numbers of people he killed. Scott, what do you got?
All right. Yeah, this whole thing seems a little bit boring if you're not into this kind of thing, but I think it's a really fascinating look at somebody who's done horrific things and watching them, listening to them and watching them describe what's happened, you know, where they sound like a turtle or a fish or something. If you could make one of those things, get one of those things to talk, not like a Bundy or some of the other people we've watched and talked about, but just a plain delivery. It's almost robotic. It's almost monotone as he does that. At the same time, it doesn't have that really eerie, dark film on it like most of the others do, but it's still there. Like you said, Greg, you can still spot it from across the room. You go, I don't know, we would all go, check this guy out. Let's watch this guy for a minute. We definitely keep our eyes on him because he would be acting, even though he would be normal looking, what he's not doing is what makes him so odd. So I think it's a very interesting, from that standpoint, it's the things he's not doing and the things we're not seeing and hearing that separates him from, I don't want to say normal psychopath, but from someone that falls under the psychopathy label at that point.
He's certainly not glib. He's certainly not glib.
That's for sure. That's for sure. But I'm looking hard for something, just one thing, well, more than one, that tells me this guy's got is besides the eating people and killing people and eating them, that says he's a psychopath. He's not showing the classic signs of it. So I think that's odd at this point. Chase, what do you got?
Yeah, I agree with you guys and covered a lot that I had in my notes here. But I think this behavior stems from something that I teach in a lot of my courses on influence and persuasion. And there's 4 things that can make somebody compliant to another human. And I think everything in the world stems from these 4 things. And I call it the FATE model. It spells out FATE, which is focus, authority, tribe, and emotion. In that order. And I think as a kid, he likely failed to get these responses from these people in order. He had the focus of no one. He failed to have any authority in many places in his life. He was largely excluded from social circles. Family fell apart, so the tribe disappeared. And he garnered little to no emotional reaction from people. And this developed, I think, into an emotional behavior pattern for him. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, interesting. The father shows, I think, contempt, which is just the side of his mouth, just pinging up there, asymmetrical gesture there. Contempt or disdain on the kill being a means to an end. He also eye blocks on that and self-soothes with his little finger on the chair. We've experienced his reaction to Dahmer talking about killings, but never as a means to an end of something else. And the father has this contempt reaction there, which I think is really interesting. So what is it that the father might know or doesn't like about whatever end, whatever wish fulfillment Dahmer was actually trying to get, that killing was a journey towards? Dahmer's saying is that wasn't the end product. There was another end product. It's just killing is part of that thing that I'm trying to get done. What is the wish being fulfilled there? I think the father knows something about that and has contempt for that end wish, or may have contempt for his son, in that maybe the father felt that he was a better controller of those kinds of internal feelings. Maybe there's a similarity between the two, I'm thinking at this point, and one feels that they controlled it and the other weren't able to control it. But anyway, we do get into this control element here. The means to the end was having the final say, controlling everything. Big illustrators on that getting mixed in with the sexuality. There's talks about lust, but the emphasis is on controlling, not the lust aspect. So I think Dahmer feels that it might be helpful to wrap it up with the idea of sexuality. But I think the real point about this is control. And that's so again, what's that gap that he's trying to control there, that the father may have some understanding of exactly what that loss or that gap is. Now thinking about personality types that we've got here, there's only one person in the room that has written a book about their son chopping off heads and eating people. Now, I'm a father. If my son, I doubt it's ever going to happen, were to chop off people's heads and eat people, I've written a bunch of books, but I think the last thing I'd think about is I think there's a book in that. I think there's even if, as clearly has happened, a publishing house came to me and went, Mark, here's a few 100,000. I think you got a book there. I might go, I don't really want to touch that, mate. No, not really. And they might go, well, you do like to be in the public eye. You do like being on YouTube and stuff like that, and people knowing who you are. And I think, I'm on the spectrum of attention seeking. Yeah, I would be on the more outgoing, but around my son killing people and eating them, I don't need any attention around that. Thanks. There's only one person in the room that has gone in that direction. I find that interesting.
Was it the killing that excited you, or is it what happened after the killing?
No, the killing was just a means to an end. That was the least satisfactory part. I didn't enjoy doing that. That's why I tried to create living zombies with uric acid in the drill. But it never worked. No, the killing wasn't the objective. I just wanted to have the person under my complete control, not having to consider their wishes, being able to keep them there as long as I wanted. It's not easy to say that, but that's what the motive was.
Where did that need for control come from? Do you have any idea?
I don't know. Maybe I felt I had no control as a child or young adult, and that got mixed in with my sexuality, and I ended up doing what I did was my way of feeling in complete control, at least for that situation, creating my own little world where I had the final say, finding the best looking guy that I could, and having total mastery over him for as long as I wanted. Lust played a big part of it, controlling lust. That was the motive right there.
If you like this video, Get the full body language breakdown and analysis on our main channel by clicking this video right here.